Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hello, everyone. Wednesday means another fun class here with Michael Stores in Faber-Castell, USA. My name is Leigh Bella Rolson. I am also known as Mommy Leigh on the internet. It is a pleasure to be your teacher and also your host for today's class. And I want to say hello to everyone before we get started. Hi, Judith. Hi, Mariana. Hi, Lakita. Hello. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Tina. Hi, neighbor. Hello there. Hi, Isa. Demetria, hello. Hello, Christina. Hello, Jana. Hello, everyone. We are now this is our second class. I'm going to stop doing this, I think, after a third because I'm going to lose count. But this is our second class for the year, and I'm super excited. Happy New Year. It has been a week. So how's everyone doing? Just want to check in real quick. I hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy. I have been trying to get rid of this cold congestion for a year now, I think, but it's a little bit exaggeration, but really I want to feel well. But I do hope that you're all doing well and in good spirits. So we'd like to thank everybody for joining in this afternoon. Today's class is brought to you by Faber-Castell USA. We'll be working with the Albrecht Durer watercolor markers, and we'll be doing a little bit of brush lettering. Okay, so I am going to make sure that I have my cameras set up. So this is the handout that I have provided for this class, but to be honest with you earlier, while I was looking at it, I think I want to change it a little bit. I think I want to change where for every ending, there's a new beginning. I feel like that one flows better, but if you want to keep this quote here, that is, you're more than welcome to do so. I think it's great too. If you didn't download and printed it, it's okay, because I really want to go from the beginning till the end. And while I'm doing that, I really want to talk to you about lettering, because lettering was the first art project that I wanted to learn, and that was 10 years ago. And so when I first started lettering, the things I want to share with you are the things that I wish I knew when I was first getting started, because I think it's important to share those. Aside from the techniques, I think it's important to share my journey and my experience also, because little things that can probably change your progress much quicker, those little things. And also I want to go share with you some of the common, most frequent questions that I get asked. The first question: how long did it take you to get better at lettering? So if you ask me that question, honestly, my answer would be, it is going to be up to you. I know it's a little cheesy, but really that's the honest question. That's the honest answer, because it just depends on how much you really want, how much time and effort do you want to put into this new project or new hobby. So I would like to know how many of you are totally beginners when it comes to brush lettering, and how many, and if you're not new to this, how far along have you been doing this, for a year or 2 years and all that. I'd love to know that, just so I can gauge where everyone's at, so that in future classes also, when I try to create more quotes and try to come up with classes, then I know which category, what part of it that I want to share or dive in deeper. So I'd love to know that. Okay, so we have a lot of new. Of course, this is January. This is the beginning of the year where we want to learn new things. So whether you're new, whether you have been doing this for a while, I got you. I promise you that if you stick along with us here with Faber-Castell, we have so many classes that we're going to be doing this year. So we'll be doing lettering, doodle. So if you are in a creative, you're thinking of being more creative this year, then this is a place. Michael's have many different classes, and Faber-Castell will have many different classes: lettering, doodles, mixed media, journaling, and all that. We got you covered. Okay, So now that I know that we have a lot of beginner here, I really want to start then with not just tracing, because if we trace this, then you'll not learn anything. Okay. So, and please do excuse my voice. Like what I said, I'm still a little bit sick, a little bit under the weather here, but it's okay. I got this. Okay. So when it comes to lettering, the first question was, how long did it take me? I think it took me a good year before I could see the progress. Second tip that I want to share with you, keep a sketchbook or a journal, because it is very important to see your own progress along the way. Because it is easy to, if you have copy papers like this, you'll lose it, you'll throw it in the trash, and then you won't see your progress. Let's say that 6 months from now, we started this lettering journey together. And then by June, we're doing another lettering. How would you know your progress if you don't have the past to look back on and say, you know what, look at me, I can do the thin strokes much better, or whether it's downstrokes. We'll talk about those strokes in a little bit. We have a lot to really talk about when it comes to brush lettering, and I might not be able to cover it in 1 hour because time is limited. But if you go back to Michael's YouTube channel, we've done a lot of classes, and we have a lot of classes in there where I really talked about from the very beginning till the end. So because there's a whole lot. Okay, so journal, sketchbook, very important. Third one, you don't have to buy all the pens and all the markers in the world. This is honest truth. You don't need a whole lot. I would love for you to choose maybe 3 different markers, whether it's from the same company or whether it's from a different company, but there's many different brushes. A brush pen is not created equal. There's a very fine, small brush. There's a medium brush. There's a large brush. There's a synthetic, more fiber brush. There's a felt tip brush. So there's many. But if you would like to try and buy all of it, I think it's going to hinder you from really progressing, because every single time you get a new brush, you have to get used to that tool, because it is a tool that you'll be using. So I'd like for you to pick 3 different type, size, brand, and I want you to keep using that over and over again until you really get the hang of the brush strokes that we're going to learn in a little bit. All right, so I think I'm going to start and talk doing it together so that we have, we can really cover a whole lot in here. And as I'm doing the class, if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the chat section and I'll help you out with that one. Okay. So for this basic one, there are 2 basic simple strokes that you're going to have to master. This is the upstroke. It is the motion that when you're writing away from your body, this is your up stroke, right? And then your downstroke. Downstroke is every time you would write towards you, right? Now, visually, they look very different. And yes, they are, because your upstroke is when you're going to apply really light pressure, because the upstroke is where the thin strokes are. And so you're going to get the thin stroke by applying light pressure on your brush pen. And so assuming that you're using a brush pen right now, which is very important. So this is your brush pen, where my camera here. So you're going to see brush. So when you're doing an upstroke, when I'm doing the light, I'm using the tip of that brush pen. Now, when I'm doing my downstroke, notice how I'm using the tip and the body of the marker, and I'm going to apply some pressure and create that thicker stroke, right? So just the opposite. Upstroke will be light, easy on your pressure. Downstroke is when you're going to apply heavier pressure, and that's when you're going to get the thicker lines. All right. So there are basic strokes that these are the two ones that's so important because these are the two that you're going to use to create the basic strokes. The basic strokes would be, this one is an under, but notice how there's not much of a difference from this one. Where did I go wrong? So this is absolutely wrong, right? Because this should be thick, which I got it, but look at this one. This is my upstroke. This is where it should be thin. So thick, applying pressure, and ease up and use the tip of your marker and go really, really light. So if you don't notice a difference from your thick and your thin, you're doing either one of these. It's either you're not applying enough pressure in your downstroke, or you're not going light enough when you're doing your upstroke. So those are the two ones. If you have to remind yourself, if you have to say it over and over while you're doing it, heavy downstroke, light upstroke, heavy downstroke, light upstroke. You know, it's kind of like a mantra that you just keep saying in your head. But the good news is the more you do this, the more you practice, you're going to build a muscle memory. So basically your brain and your hand, they will coordinate and they will be synced together. They already know what to do. So there's going to come a time where you don't have to say thick, light, right? Thick, light. So downstroke heavy, upstroke light. So another one is a good stroke to practice would be a plain oval. Heavy going down, ease up and use the tip of the brush, and then light going up. It's really hard. It looks easy, but really it is not. So let's do that again. Oval, thick going down, ease up and use the tip of the marker, and go really light. Now, another tip that I think a lot of people are missing is the way they would hold the markers. Look at how I'm holding my pen here. I'm holding it 45-degree angled from the tip, from the pen, from the paper, like this. So I'm not holding it upside down like how I would normally write. If I'm writing and, filling in a document and all that, or just writing in my journal, this is the way I would hold my pen or my marker. But when I'm doing a lettering, my hands here, you want to have full control. Should be stable, should be comfortable. And my pen is 45-degree angled from the tip till here. And also, we all hold our pens differently. Some hold it like this, some even I've seen someone doing like this. As long as you're not doing it like this, as long as it's angled, it's still going to be okay. But I like to hold my marker here where I have control. This one should be comfortable and stable on the table. And everything is on the flick of my wrist, like that. So the movement, you don't have to go your whole hand moving around like this. So, okay. So that's another one. Second one, I've heard many people saying, because I am not a lefty. Okay. So if you're going to notice how I would usually, if I'm just writing, my paper would be straight like this. But if I'm doing any type of brush lettering, I would tilt my paper a little bit to the left like this. Okay. So now if you're a lefty, I would only assume that you're going to tilt your paper a little bit to your right. So it was hard. Trust me, I learned how to letter with my left hand, and it's not the easiest thing to do. All right. It's not. Okay. So we covered the upstroke and the downstroke. Make sure to write it down. Upstroke is light pressure. Your downstroke is heavy pressure. Okay. Second one, the placement of your pen, the way you would hold it like this, it's angled. I think the most important one that you need to hear today would be handwriting versus hand lettering. Those are two different things. I would always get comments like, Lay, your handwriting is so pretty. Your handwriting is so neat. Your handwriting, and in all honesty, those are two different things. So when I say handwriting, notice here the word upstroke and the word downstroke. This is how I would normally, this is my handwriting. So I would handwrite, again, the position of my pen. Just like that. But if I try to hand letter the word upstroke, and pay attention, what are you noticing right now? This is one of the common mistakes that I see when it comes to people that are trying to do lettering. The first one is comparing their own handwriting to the hand lettering. So handwriting is another story. Hand lettering is another one. Hand lettering is the art of drawing your letters. So yes, I know you hear the word draw and you're like, but I don't know how to draw. Sure you can, you do. Because I started this journey without understanding anything about art. I didn't know how to draw. I didn't know how to do the hand letter. And if I did it, I am telling you, you can too. Promise. I promise you that. Now, if you've noticed, when I did the word upstroke, I would just write upstroke, right? But when I tried to letter it, notice how I'm doing it one stroke at a time. I would not write it as a script. Now, when we're doing a calligraphy, this is when you would write without lifting your pen. Look, I would write this one stroke. But when you're doing a hand lettering, you're doing it one stroke at a time. So this is not a calligraphy, where calligraphy was intended to make it where you can write a word faster than doing it at a print, the old times. So when you're drawing your letters, I want you to concentrate one single stroke at a time. So not one letter, because the letter U, I didn't do it like this. I did it where I would do this stroke first, and I would combine it with a downstroke and another one. So that's how you compose a letter, one stroke at a time. So to compose the word, it's not one letter at a time. It's going still to be one stroke at a time. So take your time, be mindful. And another thing, if you're a totally beginner, is that I don't want you to skip this practicing your strokes, because this is where you're building that muscle memory. The more you do upstroke over and over again, I know it is boring. I know it's no fun. Really, do I have to do this upstroke 100, 1 million times? Yes, you do. Until your brain and your hand are totally in sync and you don't have to repeat to yourself, heavy going down, light going up, heavy going down, light going up. All right. So I want you to also check out, Faber-Castell.com in a blog. They probably have some of the past sheets that I have created for the brush lettering, and you will see the basic stroke practice sheets in there. That you can use at home. All right. So basically, these are just the simple basic things that you want to cover when it comes to lettering, but there's a whole lot more. And again, 1 hour is not enough, or else we won't be able to finish any project today. But those are the important ones. Pause after each stroke. Don't finish one word at one lettering. It's always one stroke at a time. Light going up, heavy going down. All right. And the way you angled your brush pen. Super duper important. Okay, so for the project today, I almost forgot, we have this. In every end, there's a new beginning. Now, the markers that I'm going to be using today from Faber-Castell, these are watercolor markers. These are the Albrecht Durer watercolor markers. These have dual tips. It has a brush on the other end. Let's see. So this, you have a brush tip, and then you also have a bullet tip on the other end. Now, when it comes to hand lettering, there are many different types of lettering. So it's not just brush lettering. There's also mono type of lettering. There's block lettering, bubble lettering. So every time you would say the word lettering, this is when you would draw your letters. So it's not writing, but you're drawing. So you're doing art. It's fun. It's fun. So it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be overwhelming. I know it can be a little overwhelming in the beginning, but it is the process that we're doing that makes it super fun. Okay. So for this one, since we have a whole lot of beginners in here, I hope that you were able to download the sheet, the handout. Now, if you have a graphite sheet, you can just go over it and then transfer the letters. Also, if you don't have that, if you have a graphite pencil, what you can do also is cover the back of this one. So you want to cover the whole thing with a graphite pencil like this. And notice how I'm also holding my pencil angled so I can cover a much larger space at a time. And then once you have transferred, once you have the pencil in here, what you want to do is you're going over this and trace it on a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper. Since I will be working with a watercolor marker, I need a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper that will be able to handle the moisture or the water that I will be using today. So here, I think I've covered it. So once you've done that, you can just place it here, hold it, make sure that it's in place, make sure that it will cover the whole paper or the whole page. And then you can just apply some firm pressure and go over the letters. Just like that. And I'll go over it. And so in this class, we're going to learn brush lettering. And also, I want to share with you, it's called faux brush lettering, or it's basically a fake brush lettering. But it's also fun to learn it because, like what I said, brush lettering is a little tricky. And before you can compose, get so comfortable with the thin and thick, it's going to take a while. And I understand that it can be frustrating at times. And so there are options, it's called the faux lettering, the faux brush lettering, which is basically trying to mimic and copy the look of the brush lettering. The brush lettering, what makes it special is because you have this thin and thick strokes. Now, if you are already so comfortable with your brush pens, then you will have no trouble about getting the thin and thick line. But since you understand when and where to apply the thin and thick, that is the most important one to learn how to do the faux lettering. Is basically, where to add the thicker strokes. And when do you add the thicker strokes? That's right. You add the thicker strokes when you're doing a down stroke. So every time you would write towards you, this is supposed to be a thicker stroke. So when we do this, we're going to have to retrace everything. And then we know where that thicker part of that letter is going to be, right? So once you understand that, hey, this is where my thick is going to be, then we just add another stroke outside of that, and we're going to thicken that stroke. So it's kind of like both. We're going to learn both because I want to show you both ways. Now, when I'm doing any type of blending, I always start with a lighter color. So this one will be complementary to the colors that I picked today. I have the middle purple pink 125. I have the Purple Violet 136. This is the dark Phthalo Green 264 and the Beige Red 132. So obviously the Beige Red is the lightest of them all. So this is the one that I'm going to use first as my base. All right, so question, Mariana, can you also use watercolors if you don't have the Albrecht Durer? For sure, yeah, absolutely. So, but the techniques might just be different from how I would do it today. But for sure, you can use a watercolor. So if you're going to use a watercolor, do you have a round brush? This is what you need. I have a number 2, and I also have the water brush from Faber-Castell. I think this is a number 4, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, water in here. I have a little tiny bowl for my water. Well, I don't know what happened to my camera. Okay, hold on. Let's switch to the different one first. Let's see. So of course, water for that one. So if you don't have the Albrecht Dürer markers, I think it will be okay, but I think the techniques are going to be a whole lot different, and the way that we're going to blend will be different also. So excuse me for a little bit while I do this. Were you guys able to transfer everything in your watercolor paper? Here we go. Okay, like what I said, the Albrecht Dürer has 2, and I'm going to use the brush part of this one first because this is the most important one. All right. Patricia said, I have the Pitt artist pen brushes. Would that work? Okay, so that is going to be a very different type of ink. The Pitt artist pens are India ink, so they don't work as a watercolor. The Pitt artist pens, they're going to be waterproof once they're dry. They're actually waterproof. So once they're dry, you won't be able to blend it. And that's why I use them very differently, and of course, different projects. But yes, Judith, it will definitely work. Now, the blending is just going to be a whole lot trickier because the Pitt artist pens, the pros of that pen is that they dry quick. So, in every project, it's going to be different. Definitely the blending will be very different than what we're going to do today. Okay. So Rhonda said that she didn't trace it, but I penciled it on the page first for a guide. That's perfect. That's perfect. That works. Yeah. What about the Tombow dual tip markers? Definitely that's going to work too, because those are water-based markers. So definitely will work. Please excuse me just for a little bit while I fix my camera. I have to switch cameras, move my overhead. But while we're doing that, I would love for you to start practicing just a little bit of our thin and thick strokes. If you can, I'll be back just shortly, okay? Here we go. We have to move the other camera from this one. I don't know what happened. We were just laying happily and just stopped working on us. Sometimes technology, they're funny that way. Oh, I know what to do. I bought some Pigma water brush marker set. Yes, Nancy, that's going to work too. For sure, that will work. This is how I'm going to do things. I'll switch to the other one. Technology, you are tricky. I think our last class, this other camera stopped working. Okie dokie, I think this one's going to work. All right. So the Pigma brush set, I think that's going to work. Christina said she got the Artist Loft. Basically, those are all going to work as long as they are, what do you call this? As long as they are water-based. Okay, so that means we can play around and switch them around. All right, so this one, we have to... Goodness, technology, right? Being so difficult. I can zoom in with this one, and then I'm going to flip it, rotate it. Okay, the angle's a little different, but you know what? We're going to work with what we have. See this? Oh, Mariana, yeah, I love my art room too. This is my happy place, such a happy place. Okay, so I'm going to use the brush part of it. So if you don't have the same colors, I want you to start with the very light base. If you have like maybe a light blue, that will definitely work as long as it's light and it's complementary to the other colors that you picked. All right, so again, with that thought in mind that the downstroke is thicker and I'm applying pressure. So I'm going to apply pressure in here and go light in the horizontal part of the letter, light in this one, and then thicker going down. All right. So this is another tip that I want to share with you guys. If you didn't get it right the very first time around, guess what? You can go back in and say, you know what? I didn't make this part thick enough. So guess what? You can come back in and add more thickness to that, more width to it, right? So you don't have to get it right the first time. This is what I'm trying to say when it comes to the faux brush lettering, because you can just go over it and say, just go light in all ways. Now, the only problem that's going to be hard is that when it comes to the thin stroke, because you won't be able to erase that mark, but you'll be able to add in more width, but you won't be able to erase anything, right? So just go light, add thin stroke all around if you want, and then retrace it and add more width to all the downstrokes. Does that make sense? So this one, I did it all thin. Now I'm going to have to retrace. I know that this one, I drew this going down. So this is supposed to be a downstroke, it's supposed to be thicker, right? Does that make sense? So you can just retrace your steps and then just add width again. All right, so I'm just going to keep writing how I would normally, going down thicker, going up using the tip, using the body, tip, body, like this, going down thicker again. There we go. A light orange, I think the light orange will be good with your pink. I think the pink and the purple, the orange and the purple might cause a little bit of muddy colors. So that's color theory. So you want to avoid creating muddy colors. So, but the yellow, the pink and the orange will just make a deeper orange or a red color. Depends on the color exact value that you're using. And then for the printed words in here, I'm not going to stress too much when it comes to this one, like that. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm just going to write it, just a regular print. Like that. And I actually said I was going to change my quote, didn't I? I got so distracted, but this is perfect too. Now, when it comes to the composition of this quote, notice how this word is print in print. So you have the word in and then every end, and then you have the words there's a and also print, but a smaller one, and then new beginning. So a tip when it comes to composition, I really like to write my quote over and over again. That is one of the secrets, is that I would write it all in, I would look at it and say, write it down, just regular handwriting, right? And then once I look at it many, many times, and then I'll try and figure it out how to separate them or put them together, which one is going to be the print. My deciding factor is that I choose words within the quote to highlight, like the every end. I want those highlighted so they are much bigger than the rest. And then the words new beginning, because this one I wanted to highlight too. So this is also much bigger than the rest. And they're also the ones in the beautiful script as well. So when you write down your quote in a piece of paper, write it down just how you would normally write things down and analyze it. And then from there, decide what are the words that you would like to highlight. And then you'll be able to compose it much better. So, especially if it's a longer quote like this one, that's why I picked the word there's a much smaller than the rest. And then the rest are much bigger, right? Okay, so here we go. Isha, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with those markers. But if you have a brush, water-based markers, those are going to work for sure. Okay, so now that I have that, I want to start with my blending. Now, it's not as hard as you think. As long as you understand your color theory, you're going to create mud. And the only way to understand it is to really play a whole lot. You want to make sure what is going on with our things? Nothing is working for us today. Lord, look, all the cameras are not working. What is happening? Something is playing with us. Okay, so like what I was saying, when you're working with colors, the more you understand it, the more you play with it, the more you understand it. Now, I know that yellow and pink will create orange. Pink and orange will create red. So the basic color theory, and to understand it much further, experiment. I mean, really, what's going to happen? So experiment with your colors. See if can I mix these two colors together? Can I not? That's the only way you're going to figure it out, if you really play around with it. Okay, I am getting slightly frustrated with all my cameras. I don't know what's happening. So I'm going to start with the pink first, and I'm going to do it one step at a time. This one is really important because if you are going to start blending in, for example, if you're using a watercolor, I think someone's using a watercolor. The thing with watercolor is what's tricky with that is that it depends on how much water you're using. Sometimes you pick out too much watercolor. That's why I love using the markers, because I know with the markers, I know exactly how much I'm putting in here. And when it comes to watercolors, I have heavy hands. So when I'm dipping in the watercolor, I pick up too much color at times. And it gets frustrating because I end up with this pool of water that just does not look good, So be careful with how much colors you pick up from your pan. With the markers, just go slowly. And this is what I'm going to do today. Let me see if I can adjust this one. Hi, Nacho. Oh my goodness. Why are we doing this? So I'm going to start with my pink, and I'm just going really start from the top, all the top part. I'm going to add my pink in there, just like that. So all the top part. And then here, I'll add that too. And then at the bottom, I'm going to use the dark phthalo green. And this is, like what I said, this is dual tip. So since this is very thin, I'm just going to use the bullet tip on this one while applying. Just like that. So I'm leaving the middle part. And then I'm going to start blending it. Okay, let's see. And so blend slowly, like little by little, little by little, until the two colors meet together. It's like that. And if you're doing this and if you feel like, oh my gosh, I added too much water, and that's where the frustration comes in. That's why it's important to have a paper towel on the side, because it's going to be much easier to dab and to clean, or have a baby wipes so that you have something to clean off your brush, maybe take out the extra water, take out the extra moisture in there. So I always hold it in one hand and then dab it, so I know that there's not a whole lot in there, and just start blending. And I'm going to start with the pink first and just blend it together. There we go. Now, if you end up with a little too much water in there, your paper towel, just get a corner of it and just kind of like slowly dab it just a little bit. And what's gonna happen is that it's going to absorb that extra water in there. But working slowly and doing things one step at a time is the key to a really pretty blending. All right, so this time I'm going to use my purple color. And then again, I'll start on the top and I'll just go over, trace it just like this, like that. And then let's slowly add let's see what's going to happen. And we know that it's just going to make a very pretty purple pink color, right? So let's blend it. But I wanted to go over all of these step by step, because these are the ones that are super important when you're trying to learn, a new hobby. Is that the basics? And then once you progress and you want to do a bit more blending like this, at least you understand it. And the best part about the watercolor markers is that you can use it also outside and you can use it not directly into your paper. If you have an artist palette that you can use, and to be honest with you, you can also use just a regular plastic sheet. I use sometimes a Ziploc, or sometimes you have like an extra packaging of some sort, like this plastic ones. You can use that too. Let's take out that one part so I can show you. So just this one, I'm going to use the middle purple pink, apply it in here. And then I'll get a little bit of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some of these colors right here, like that. And then I'll start adding and blending in here. So for some of you that are using the water-based markers, you can do this too. So you can start using it this way if you don't want to go apply it directly into your page. Isn't that fun? That is super fun. All right, let's see. And I'm going to keep adding it again, the purple on top. You would think an hour will be super long, but when you're enjoying and having so much fun, it is never enough. So I'll just keep adding it on the top, like that. We can apply the pink directly, or we can always just keep picking it up from here. And I think I'll do that because I still have a whole lot here in this plastic sheet. So I'll pick up some of this and just start blending in. That's what I was talking about. Heavy hands. I have such heavy hands that it is a tricky business to use a very thin brush. But you know what? It allows me to really be mindful and slow down, because I know that I have heavy hands, so I am intentionally keep reminding myself, slow down, go light, go light. So yes, I have been doing this for a long time, but until now, I have to constantly just be mindful of every single stroke. And I think that's what I love about art, is because it really does help me to focus and be in the moment of what I am doing at the moment. Be at the moment of what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, something like that. This. And go up and start blending in. Look how pretty that is. And it's just two different type of blend, like that. Lord have mercy. Like that. Just blending and blending. So the key to the blending is what? Patience, and also doing it a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. So we'll get more of that pink color and pick up that, and then apply it in here and start blending. So if you're using a water brush are great because they have continuous flow of water. Now, the thing that is tricky with water brushes is it depends on the brand, and it just depends on how you're using it. I know I have heavy hands, so sometimes I have some difficulty because I would accidentally press on the barrel. And that's why I love this one from Faber-Castell, because this one is very hard on here. So I will not accidentally press on it. So it just have a very smooth flow of water, very continuously and very little at a time, very little. Because some water brush, they would just like spill out so much water. And then you end up with this pool of water on your page, and you're just like, oh my goodness, it's just no fun. So it depends. If you feel like you enjoy working with a water brush, then you keep working on the water brush, So this time I would do the opposite. I'd use the dark phthalo green on top, right? So we're just playing here. We're playing. Albrecht Dürer actually is an amazing watercolor artist. So this is a watercolor marker. That's why we have, from Faber-Castell, we have two lines of Albrecht Dürer, the watercolor pencils and the watercolor markers that we have. And these are amazing markers. They have amazing light fastness, which means these colors are not going to change over time, because the markers that are available on the market, they do fade over time. So someday, if you decide to sell your creations and all that, those things are really going to be important. Something that is light fast, which means your colors will not fade. And so your customers will not be unhappy because they ordered a pink one and then it turned out to be a lilac after how many months. So we don't want that, right? So those things are important. But if you are just a beginner and you don't want to buy the most expensive products out there, but in all honesty, it is, you really get what you pay for in quality. And so to me, as an artist, and this is what I do for a living, quality is very important. So, all right, I'm going to add a little bit more of my pink. So it looks so different from this one to this one, even though we're using two different colors. Isn't that so cool here? So here, the reason why it's different, it's coming, of course, purple, is because I'm applying the pink where the dark phthalo is, and then I am just blending it, and I'm getting this purple color because these are watercolors. And so we're creating another color by blending them together. And then, of course, you have the beige red too, that very nude color that we have as our base. So that's why you get different results by just applying different way of blending them. This one, we have them separately and they just met in the middle. So that's why it looks like that. And this time we're getting purple because we're applying the pink on top of the dark phthalo. And then that pink and the dark phthalo is creating this deep purple color. Of course, if you want more of your pink, then you just add a little bit more in there. But again, I think it comes back to experimenting and really playing around, because that's the only way you're really going to learn and find out more ways, by just making mistake, allowing yourself to make mistakes, because that's the only way you're going to grow. Really, I promise you, by making more mistake, you're going to learn, oh, I cannot mix those two colors together. Oh, I cannot apply that color while it's still wet. So give yourself grace, especially to the beginners out there. I would like for you to not feel frustrated, because I understand those frustration. I've had many of those and I still have many of those. Trust me, until now, I really have a lot of those. But grace is super important. Allow yourself to make mistake and be okay with it. All right. Okay. So someone's asking, do you normally use the light color as a base? Not this light color all the time. Not all the time. It just depends. I would use a light blue. Again, I would use a light blue also. And I think it's going to give a very different result too. So not all the time, but yes, I always use a light color as a base. Not this color, but light color. So I would always have like 3 or 4 combinations and I go from there. So this time I want to apply the purple. Let's do that. Purple and the teal and the purple is what I want. That's what I want. And I'm going to put my dark phthalo in here like that. And then add on top of the purple, see what color we come up with, right? Blend. They're so pretty. The reason why I start with a light color, I think it's important to share that, is because I want to have a base and not worry about the blending while doing the thin and the thick and all that. So I want to get that out of the way first, worrying about the thin and the thick lines, and then do the blending after. So I always start with one solid base color first and then do my blending. But there are different ways also to do blending if you're using a watercolor marker or a water-based marker. And I think I'm going to show you that because we have like 5 minutes left. So obviously we won't be able to finish it. So I want to share just an extra tip, how you can also blend if you don't want to mess with your having a base color and then mix it this way. So we'll study something today. We just have a few minutes left. I want to share this with you. Let's get another page. Where's I'm just going to grab a new one like this. So, okay, per se, you have let's do the purple one. And this is going to give you a gradient, okay? So it's not going to give you the same result as like what we have here in our lettering, but I'm going to grab the beige red. See how I applied the purple one here first in this surface, and then I'm going to grab my beige red, see what we come up with. I'm just going to pick up some of these colors and then write. So you can have a blended color this way. So let's try another color. Let's say the pink. I'm going to pick up the pink. And what it does is it gives us this beautiful gradient blend or an ombre look. It's so pretty. And then I'll try the dark phthalo like this. So there, that's just another way that you can do that. So, right. And if, for example, this one and this one don't blend, you just kind of blend through some parts of it that you want to blend in. You can still come back in with your water brush. This one, I want to add a bit of thickness in here. So again, you don't have to get it perfect or right the first time around. It's okay to make mistake because it is always figure outable. Is that even a word? Figure outable. But that's what I would like for you to keep doing is I would like for you to keep practicing. I would like for you to keep experimenting and just try and just practice because as much as it is frustrating to to do all these things one by one and all in that it is really depends on you. How much practice do you want to do, and how much time do you want to spend practicing? It is going to be it's going to depend on you. So I hope you had a wonderful time. I do apologize for some technical issues that we have today. I don't know what was happening. Oops, look at this. Just like what I was saying, I am flipped. My goodness gracious. And I am super bright. But guys, I don't know what's happening with us, but thank you all so much for joining in. Again, if you for all the beginners out here, I really encourage you to visit Michael's YouTube channel and look at all the past classes that I have done and created for Faber-Castell, and that's going to give you a lot of information when it comes to brush lettering. Again, allow yourself to make mistakes, give yourself grace, don't get frustrated. Keep a journal, a sketchbook that you can really look back into and see your own progress instead of you comparing yourself to other people that you see online. Compare yourself to how you were a month, 2 months, 6 months ago, and then go from there. And it's going to give you pat yourself in the back and see, oh my gosh, I am improving. So be kind to yourself, just keep creating and really enjoy the process because that's the gift of creating. It brings me joy, and I hope it does the same to you. Again, my name is Leigh Bella Ralston. I hope that you follow me on social media. It's at Mommy Leigh. And also make sure to show some love to Michael's. If you created something with us today, would love to see it. Use the hashtag Make It With Michael's. And of course, lastly, Faber-Castell USA. Make sure to give us a follow and show some love. And I hope that you'll be able to join next week. Next week, we have a premium class, and it's going to be fun because it's mindful journaling. We'll be doing some florals and a portrait, but with a hair full of florals and a little bit of lettering too. So I hope that this class was fun for you. I surely had fun. Thank you again for joining in. We hope to see you again next week. Have a great evening. God bless you all. Thank you, everybody.